Drew is leading Jeffrem through the village, jaw clenched, not sure whether he's angry or distraught or both or what have you. Jeffrem is hot on his heels with his two dogs, Brewy and Mr.
And Drew, like, he literally kind of shoulder barges his front door open. Like, it just literally steams forward. Not even the door slows him down. He's literally so intent that he just bursts through the front door. Goes straight for her bedroom area. And like sort of grabs like a pillowcase or something, and like rips it off so quickly and so violently that he just tears it in, and then scrumples it up and shoves it under the nose of one of the dogs.
The dogs just start saying like, and Jeffrem immediately lets them off the lead, going, "You go on, boys, and they start snuffling around first the room, noses down, and they kind of weave their way out of the house, out to the front yard, and Brewy sort of gets his nose down and starts sniffing, and then points, and Mr. kind of trots past him and then starts weaving around and sniffs, and then points, and then they kind of both start snuffling and following a trail through the village.
Drew grabs
Jeffrem.
Why do I always forget his name?
I don't know.
he literally sort of like subconsciously grabs Jeffrem by the elbow. They've got something, and starts to. Come on, let's go.
Calm down, Drew. It'll take as long as you can. You know dogs, they work hows they works. But they're moving at a decent pace now. They start moving along the road. You're passing the village. The villagers are sort of looking like slightly askance. They're making space though, because you're acting such like with fervent purpose, like completely blinkered, and dragging Jeffrem along. Jeffrem's like, don't mind us, we're just having a look about for some things. And the dogs weave their way along the road, and then they turn towards the main wall, next to in between the blacksmiths and the carpenters. Is it the carpenters? Well, it's next to the blacksmiths, I know that.
Oh, it was the carpenters, yeah.
And
carpenter and blacksmith.
They start sniffing around at the stairs and start heading up the stair. They start looking up the steps and barking, because it's like they don't normally go up there.
Okay.
And then they both go stock still and just point. So they're like, like a dog adopting a point, and they just point up the steps because they don't seem to particularly want to go up them.
Jeffrem, you stay here with the dogs. I'll be back in a moment. And I literally vault up the stairs, like taking 2-3 stairs at a time.
Okay.
And as soon as I get up, I look around and I go to the first guard that I see up there.
They're both stood. They've just met over at the brazier, and they just stood at the brazier.
I head straight for the brazier. Do I know these guards?
You know all of the guards.
I know them by name, obviously.
You go over and you see.
Pod's the most obvious.
He's not there.
He's not there.
His shift was earlier on in the day, remember?
Right. Okay.
Because Livy was there in the morning, so he would have done like 8 hours or what have you, and then his shift would have been off. But you do see Fabian and.
I've got the other one written down.
And Xander. So you head over, and Fabian and Sandra there. These guys are like they're just chatting amiably about stuff that you don't know. And you steam straight up to them.
Yeah. You two, Fabian, Xander. You haven't happened to have seen my daughter today, have you?
They turn and look at you, kind of like slightly shocked and not expecting the swordmaster to be out questioning them on the wall in the middle of the. It's the morning, isn't it? No, it's the night.
It's the night. Yeah.
It's sort of like, okay. So you've come out of the dark, sort of the darkness to emerge, and just a voice comes, and they sort of jump shocked and look around and be like, "Who goes there?"
At ease. It is simply I.
Xander's like, Sir Wentworth. Sorry, Sir Wentworth.
Not at all. You haven't happened to have seen my daughter today, have you?
We've not seen young Libby, but we've only been on since 2 p.m.
Does
or the second bell.
Does Drew know about the shift rotations?
Yes.
Who's on at what times and everything?
He wouldn't know off the top. Well, make an intelligence check.
Nope.
No, you can't remember who was on before them.
Great.
You could ask them though.
Yeah, that's it. So who was on guard duty before you? I take it Xander was the one who was talking there.
Sir, it was Pud and Benson.
Pud and Benson. And where is Pud and Benson right now, do you know?
Well, I don't know about Benson, sir. His wife keeps him on a firm string, but I suspect Pud will be down at the dancing frog.
Just dancing frog, yeah. Right. Thank you very much. Turns on his heels.
Okay.
And goes.
And Jeffrem's waiting with the dogs at the bottom of the steps as you come down from there. He's like, so, any luck there, Drew?
No, nobody's seen her at all today.
Well, do you want me to have a proper look around with my dogs whilst you're going and doing whatever you're doing?
Yes, you go do that. I'll go find who was on duty earlier on.
So he starts coaxing them, and they're sort of, after a little bit of coaxing, the dogs start going up the stairs.
Okay.
You, meanwhile, sort of steam straight over towards the dancing frog. As you approach through the village, you can see lights on in sort of through small glass windows on the outside. It's a bit of smoke coming out. The door opens and shuts, allowing sort of a warm light to spill out into the courtyard. Or the village square, even over cobbles. You can hear a violin or a fiddle even being sort of played on the inside, quite a raucous tune. There might even be some dancing, and you can hear some clapping and stamping of feet inside. How do you go in? Door slams open, you're silhouetted in the doorway, just a black shape against the sort of the light coming out. And
scan the room for Pud, locate him, direct straight to his table.
Somebody's like, oh! Like, and turns to look and be like, oh, it's so rude. Like, this is a woman who's sort of right next to the door. And there's sort of 3 other people are sort of just inside the door. There's a bit of a sort of going on, and like somebody's dancing on. A couple of people are dancing up on the tables in the middle of the room, doing a bit of a ditty, and that. You sort of just steamroller in, and you just barge through the middle of them. And you hear it. You don't even. Do you notice? Are you paying attention? Do you just not care? Make a perception check.
Natural 20.
Okay. You sort of barge through people, and you kind of hear all these. You hear all these mutterings and all these people sort of being like, "Who the bloody hell?" And like, so you hear them starting to be like effing blind about stuff. But one, you realise that they realise who you are, and 2, you've kind of realised now that you're scaring the shit out of most people in the general vicinity of you just by how you're behaving. You walk into the room and make an intimidation check with advantage.
Thank you for that advantage. Oh yes! 19 plus...
Okay, the music just stops.
20.
The dancing just stops. Everybody in the room just stops, and all attention is turned to you.
I think at this point, Drew realises he's an intelligent guy. He realises the effect that he's having on people. The sudden change.
I mean, you're a massively respected figure in this community. You're like you're as the sword master. You're not only responsible for teaching the people and also keeping track of. There is like a whatchamacallit, and the chief armsman, the guy that actually keeps track of the weapons. But as the sword master, you're responsible for training the guards and making sure they're properly equipped. And in terms of campaigns, you're also responsible of planning supplies, because that's a part of what you'd be doing as a leader, because you as a leader believe in knowing the campaign in order to win it and save as many of your own guys' lives as you can during it.
And I think at this point he wants to implement some of that, but obviously adapt that to the situation that he's in,
Yeah.
and realise that he's probably not doing himself any favours.
But at the moment, everybody here is just silent. You could hear a pin drop.
There's a moment where he kind of looks a bit awkward, but wants to still keep his decorum. Fiddler! He pulls a coin out of his pocket. Play us the dancing wolf that sang in the night, and flicks a coin at him.
He looks at you quizzically and strangely, but lets the coin land, leaves it where it is and starts playing, but sort of almost standing over where the coin is.
I suggested this song because I know specifically that it is a very upbeat song that will get everyone back into the mood.
It was the dancing wolf.
The dancing wolf that sang in the night.
The dancing wolf that sang in the night, just for future reference. And the fiddle playing picks up, and it's particularly bawdy and upbeat, fast song, and the dancers start sort of dancing again, and the place seems to come back to life, and a few people start clapping, except for Pud, who you've managed to spot in the room, and as you look at him, he just looks at you like, what the fuck have I done?
Do I notice this?
Well, you're looking, after you've done this, you just turn and look at him, you spot him in the room, and you just, no, it's just like, he's just like looking at you like, what have I done? Because you're so focused on him, and then you've come in such a like.
Is there an empty seat next to him? Is there?
There's no real empty seats. There's a lot of kind of benches with everybody sort of rammed up against each other. It's a very full.
Okay.
What would you do?
Drew, at this minute he thinks, okay, he's going to have to change. He's worried, but this isn't the best way to get the best out of people. He goes up to Pod, puts a friendly hand on the shoulder, and he says, Pod, a word, but he gives him a kind of the best reassuring smile that he can when he's like really angry. 7.
It just looks like he really wished he wasn't being told to do anything by you, but he's like, sir, yes, Sir Wentworth, sir. And then he kind of goes with you, but looks a bit like timid and freaked out.
Okay. I lead him out the door, just outside of the door, like on the doorstep of the dancing frog, just to get a quiet moment.
So you just go outside.
Yeah. And I turn on him and I say, Pod, this is very important. I hope you can help me here. You haven't happened to have seen my daughter today, have you? And he's fully expecting him to say no.
Well, sir, yes, sir, I have, sir.
Shoots him a look.
It was early this morning. It was around 8-9 o'clock. I'd just been started on my shift.
Where? Where did you see it?
I was up on the wall, sir, and I've been on patrol there until 2 p.m. today, and she came up and she challenged me to a fight, sir. That look in her eyes, she's so lovely.
At that, Drew, you can't help but just this smile of, I love that girl so much.
And he's like, she's getting pretty quick, sir, she is.
She challenged you to...
But, she was there on the wall one minute, and I turned her back and she was gone. And when I glanced down in around the houses, couldn't see her for high nor hell water, sir.
What words were spoken between you? Exactly. Do not leave anything out.
Sir.
This is very important.
She challenged me to a duel, and then she said she was going to go and train with the soldiers up in the castle. She had that wooden practice sword of hers with her, but she had a sack as well. Thinking about it,
and at that he knows exactly. She went to get firewood. There's that sack. It is the only.
At this point, you can hear the sound of dogs, and you can hear the sound of dogs coming from the direction of the wall. Like just a few barks.
I know that girl. She would have wanted to do the right thing and make sure that there was enough fire for tonight. And if she's gone out of this castle, and I think when he says, "Oh, if she's gone out of this castle," and looks at Pud.
Okay. Okay, make an
He's not. He's not saying anything, but he's looking at Pod as if to say, 8.
Okay. Pod just looks very, very bashful, like he might have done something wrong.
Turns on his heels, leaves Pod.
Yeah, Pod just sort of left standing, just sort of like shell-shocked.
Not a very good guard, though, are you? If she's you know.
Hey,
Okay,
think how careful she was.
That's true, but Drew doesn't know that.
I know.
His daughter's missing, and the guard is supposed to keep his eyes on what's going on. But anyway, he goes straight for the foot of the stairs again. Towards
As you're heading towards the
next to
stairs,
the
you can sort of see Jethrum appearing out of the darkness. It's a starry night, but a cold, bitter one.
Okay. Any news, Jethrum?
Well now, who would have thunk? You know, I heard tell, and I know that place is not used that much, but the dog sniffed right up to the edge of the tower, and I do remembers that some of them young'uns, they like to sneak down the walls that way.
That girl. But he's so amazed at the ingeniousness of what she's done, even though he's so angry. He can't help but be a bit like, that's pretty impressive actually. If she did do this, she managed to get past some of my most well-trained guards and scale down a castle wall.
He does know that these are good soldiers. None of these are like total lax, lazy bastards.
Yeah. So in the back of his head, maybe a flash of, if she has done this, that's kind of impressive. He goes over to the wall where. Is he at the foot of the stairs still?
You're like halfway between the wall and the dancing frog. So like he was coming towards you, you met him halfway. So like there's a couple of blocks of houses in between. You sort of met on the little road.
Okay. I'd like to go to where he was talking about, where the dog sniffed up to.
Are you just going by yourself?
Yes. 1 moment.
As you say 1 moment, he's like, now Drew, don't get any ideas in your head.
What do you mean by that?
It's dark, Drew. You can't go out in the dark, even with dogs looking for her. What are you going to do? Take a torch and go wandering around?
She will be alone in the dark, Jethrum, outside of the castle. What am I to do? Wait till morning?
He said, well, at least wait for me. I'd best go get some stuff and I'll get some people to come beating. I'll go get the guards.
He changes his tone and he puts his hand on Jethrum's shoulder and he goes, I'm sorry, Jethrum, you're a good friend. Meet me here 10 minutes.
And he immediately goes, well, Brewy and Mr. are good dogs and do anything you say as and when you say it, so just take them. And he hands you the leads to both the dogs.
Okay.
Who are back on a lead.
Mm-hmm.
And he just sort of sits down and he's like, now you Brewy, Mr. You do whatever Mr. Drew here says.
Grab what you need to grab, Jethrum. Meet me at the west gate in 10 minutes. If you're not here in 10 minutes, I'm going without you.
He just turns and he's like, right you are, as he's dashing off. Okay, so you take the dogs and you go up onto the wall where...
At first I wanted to go up there and scout where he was talking
so
about.
So you take the dogs on the leads and they sort of pull ahead of you and they're still following the scent to some degree, and they go up and they're all sniffing around that corner and sort of put their paws up on the wall, sniffing the edge of the wall where she jumped over the edge.
I'll lean over to have a look.
It's dark, you can't really see anything, but you can see that like if there was an ideal point for scaling this wall, it's where the tower and the wall meet.
Okay.
And a little part of you is like, oh right, that's clever.
Come on, Brewy. Come on, Mister. And I'll lead them back down the stairs. Back towards...
You're just heading straight down to the gate.
To the gate to wait for Jethrum.
You're going to wait?
Yeah, I'm going to be very impatient, but I'm not gonna wait more than 10 minutes.
And it's night time, right? So as you're going that way, I'm just gonna say do this because you have to do it because it's night. You go into your house and you get like you have torches. Or you take a torch off a sconce on a wall as you're going. Well, no, it's just 'cause it's night time. You need a light source.
It's obvious.
So and there are torches like ensconced on like on the exteriors of buildings.
I assume that there's two. On
yeah,
the
there
side
will be
of the
torches
gate.
there, so you'll be able to just take a torch from somewhere.
Cool.
So like you get to the gate, you take a torch.
I have my longsword on me. Yeah?
Oh god, how are we going to do this?
Do I have my longsword on me?
How impatient are you?
Very.
On a scale of 1 to 20, how impatient are you?
4.
That's going to be a fail. You don't wait. You just get guards out and you collar them and you make them open the door. And you go out into the night, dragging the dogs with you around.
Got my longsword on.
Yeah, you wear a longsword and a dagger.
Basically
You wear a longsword and dagger all the time, so you have that. You have a torch.
As I walk
You
out
don't
of the
have any
gate,
armour on though.
Yeah. As I walk out the gate, I stop and I go. I turn to the guard and I say, Jeffrem, the kennel master, will be along momentarily. Tell him to meet me. Tell him I went round to the corner on the outside of the castle where the tower meets the wall.
Yeah, yes, sir. You're talking to Brendan.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Putting down. Okay, Brendan. Brendan is the
Give message to Jeff.
guard on West Gate. West entrance.
Yeah. Then you start walking. The dogs are sort of almost struggling, like they're looking for a scent, and then they follow you.
I take them to that corner.
You go around the corner. It's a dark night. Oh, it's not a dark night. There's stars overhead, so the night is not super dark, but there's not really a full moon. So it's got that bright kind of. You can see the ground. You can see the grass. You can sort of see everything, but it's like distance is difficult to gauge. And you come round. You get there. The dew's settled on the grass. So you're sort of leaving a trail of moisture behind you. The dogs have got their noses down, sniffing, and as you approach the corner, the dogs sort of, and they get right into. Then they get you. You keep them on the lead. Mm-hmm. As you get into the corner, they start sniffing around. Well, yeah,
pitch black.
But they're like really well trained.
True.
They start sniffing and they follow. They find a trail and they start following it around the base of the tower, and then they loop around the tower and they get to about halfway between these two towers.
Mm-hmm.
And then they turn and they start heading towards the mountains, following a scent trail of some nature. Which you can only assume is Libby's.
That girl! Why has she done this? Come on, boys, come on!
Hurry, just start
Hurry
running.
them. Yeah.
Do you start running or anything?
Basically, I
start trotting.
Start trotting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make a strength check.
Crit fail.
Okay, you start trotting along, but you're like, the thing that really annoys you more than anything else that could possibly annoy you is you're like, this scribing. This is an easy task and I can't even keep this up. And there's like part of you's like, you let yourself go, you damned fool. But for several hours you're sort of walking with these dogs. First of all, you find yourself far up into the mountains now. You trudge for hours. You don't even realise how long you've been trudging for. You're so focused on getting to wherever it is the dogs are leading you. And you find yourself high up in the hills. Make a perception check at this point.
10.
You find yourself in a clearing, and what you find is a sack and scattered firewood. And you recognise the sack as being from your home.
I immediately let go of the leads instinctually and just run towards the
You've only got a torch, so you only see it like once you're up close. With the torch.
Right.
So it's like right there. You reach out, you sort of grab it up, and you're like, "This is mine. This is ours."
Is there anything
And a
else?
short distance away, you find a hatchet.
Pick up the hatchet. I'd like to inspect the hatchet. Is there any blood on the hatchet?
No.
No blood on the hatchet.
It looks like it's just been used for chopping wood.
I belt the hatchet.
Put the sack
Put
on.
the sack on. And look to the dogs.
The dogs, in the meantime, have been snuffling around the area, and they seem to be starting to wend away from you.
Okay.
No, I just need to do actually one thing. Okay, one dog is going one way, and the other dog is going another way. So, Brewy or Mr. Mister?
Who do I follow?
And I don't want to give you any clues because
Yeah.
you know too much about Libby.
Yeah. Which dog do I know which of these two dogs is the better trained? Yeah, I don't know.
You'd be told they're both the best.
They're both is good.
They're both very
I
good.
whistle at the dogs.
They're both clearly found. They've both found a trail, and all you know is they both must be Libby. Which one do you take, Brewy or Mr. Mister?
I'd like to do a perception check to see which of the dogs looks more intent. Like, really kind of,
Go.
No, not with that.
Go and pick one.
Brewy.
You start following Brewy. You head east. Through the forest, you start to drop down through cliffs. After several hours, it hasn't even occurred to you that you haven't seen or heard hide nor hair of anybody. As you start following Brewy, Mr. Mister starts following you because he knows to stick with the pack.
Yeah.
And then you get to a point and you can hear a distant sound of crashing water.
Well, obviously I know that's...
So you know that there's a waterfall here.
Yeah, I know that. I know that.
The dogs lead you all the way up to the edge of the pool at the base of the waterfall. And you kind of... You've got all the spray coming off from this water. I mean, the waterfall is like maybe 200 feet straight down.
Alright,
so
yeah.
it's quite like...
I've been under sprays of waterfall that is...
And there's quite a fog in the woods, and you
Yeah.
kind of know you've approached it because there's sort of you can't really see anything. Make a perception check, please.
7:15.
You can't really see anything through the mist, but you hear something like splashing in the water.
Splashing in the water. Could I bring the torch closer to the water to where
You can go up to the water's edge and try.
Yeah.
The dogs actually carry on right up to the water's edge, and and they kind of go into the water a bit and they're splashing about.
Oh, I literally-
They're sniffing around the rocks, and then they're sort of coming back towards you. So it's like the trail seems to disappear at the edge of the water.
Right.
Yeah.
I go to the edge of the water and I try and get as much light over the water to see if there's anything that I can
Make
spot.
a perception check.
Nope.
You just see a dark pool that stretches away from you.
Could I do a spot check on the ground next to the water to see if there's any tracks?
Yes. Survival.
No! I needed that. No!
And all you're certain of is that the trail, the dogs, you start going around the banks. The dogs are sort of sniffing everywhere around the banks. If the waterfall is like here, there's like sheer cliffs, rocks, and then kind of a pool which turns into a river with sort of some rocks around the edges.
Is this a bird's eye view?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. So this is like the waterfall.
Got it.
It's just, and then so basically there's sort of rocks that you can get across, sort of over at the river, but this pool is deep and dark.
Yeah.
And the rocks these get higher and higher, so there's no like obvious. You can't really get past this point. Because this then turns into sheer cliffs which go right up to like 200 feet.
Okay.
And dogs take you, sort of, first of all you walk one bank and the dogs are sniffing, and the only place they seem to smell Libby is around here, which is where you came out of the woods. And you hop across the river and you take the dogs around and they sniff up and down this bank. They can't smell a finder on the other side.
No. So this is the area.
So she disappeared here.
And there's no trail from that area. Okay.
It only goes into the water. What do you do?
I wade into the water.
From here, start wading.
This area where her scent is most strongest.
Make a perception.
I wade into the water.
Okay, so this is river here. And sort of, if you like, if I do this, it's deeper, deeper, and deeper. So the further towards the waterfall you go, the deeper it gets. And you start wading in around the rocks. Make a perception.
Yeah, around the rocks, yeah. 13.
You hear something like, you know, like when a fish comes out of the water and goes back under, you hear something like that, not very far away from you. But it's difficult to see because it's dark, there's the fog, you've got a torchlight, and there's a small pool of light about sort of no more than 3 feet away from you in any given direction.
So when I hear the sound of that, what sounds like a fish jumping out of water, I'd like to like zoom the torch like straight over to where I heard the sound, see if I can see anything. Nothing. Can I inspect?
Check?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
It's 5.
You don't hear or see anything specifically, but you hear a voice crying out, "Is everything okay? Do you need any help? It's dangerous round here."
Whoa!
It's a woman's voice. It's coming from the east of the waterfall, sort of on this bank over here. As you look around, sort of through the fog, you can kind of just see like a faint glow, almost like somebody carrying a torch.
Oh.
It's a woman's voice, but it's not one you recognise.
Okay. Immediately I shout, "You there! Halt! 1 moment!"
It's like, "Do you need any help?"
Yes!
Holding a torch. Statue of Liberty.
Yes, wait there 1 moment. I'll be right with you. And I get the dogs on the leads. Rui, get them on the leads and try and.
So one hand you've got holding the dogs, the other hand you're holding the torch. You make your way towards the faint glow you can see. You hop across the way. You're already wet. You just wade out, grabbing the dogs, wade up onto the bank, and there you find a kind of pretty plain, sort of stocky woman with a brown dress and a brown, slightly tattered cape with a hood.
Okay. You there? I mean you no harm. Please do not be concerned. I'm looking for somebody.
Well, it's a funny time of night to be doing that. I was only coming this way. She's got a bucket over one arm as well. And she's like, "I was only coming this way to get some water from the waterfall here. I don't live very far away."
Oh, really? Well, you haven't happened to have seen a
You don't want to be drowning. I thought someone was drowning. I heard that splashing around in the water out there, and this waterfall, it'll kill you.
He didn't want to hear that. He didn't want to hear that, man. You haven't happened to have seen a tall, blonde girl in flowering age?
Make a perception check.
Another crit fail! It was all those crit 20s that I had before.
No, it's just how it happened.
Balance.
She looks at you, she's like, no, sir, I've seen nothing for days. I live mostly by myself. I had a husband once and my son left. And my daughter is all that I have left to me.
You say you don't live far from here?
No, sir, not but a mile.
How many people live where you live?
Oh, just me and my daughter now.
Just you and your daughter? I'm very desperate. I need some help. I've lost my daughter. She's come out here, and I have the dogs. Her scent has dried up near these rocks, and I just don't know what to do. And he just suddenly for somebody being like him, always in control. All right, like he's always showing people what to do, the steps, and this is how it's done, and it's very kind of categorized. Like suddenly to not know what to do is something quite strange for Drew. He's not really too sure how to deal with that, but he feels a bit helpless. He doesn't, and he's not often a man who is left feeling helpless.
She's like, well, I'll see what I can do to help. Well, if you wouldn't mind fetching me some water, my good sir. I shouldn't really trust strange men in the woods now, should I? But if you're willing to help me, you seem like an upright man, and a man that would do this for a daughter, well, I would hope that my man would have done that for my daughter, but he went and left so long ago now. And so if you wouldn't mind fetching me this water from the...
Yes, of course.
And then if you wish to come and stay with me tonight, you're quite welcome, sir.
Oh, well, that's very kind of you. I apologise for my brusqueness. My name is Sir Drew Wentworth. I reside in Castle Frogmore. Your name? Good lady.
Maudlin.
Maudlin. Well, thank you for your kindness, Maudlin, and I would be very happy to help you with your water. And
she gives you the bucket.
Take the panel.
She's like, oh, thank you, good sir.
I go, hold this. And you give her the leads.
She takes the leads.
Thank you, and I turn and dip the water in the bucket. Turn.
Okay, make a perception check.
7.
You get the water, you turn, and she's there waiting for you patiently. The dogs are being well behaved. In fact, the dogs are being well behaved, almost too well behaved. But they're well trained dogs. What do you expect? And she's like, "Well, thank you, good sir. If you don't mind carrying it for me, I'll lead the way." And she starts leading you through the woods.
I turn, and before I leave, I turn and look at the spot where her scent dried up, and hope to God that she's okay, and follow Maudlin.